Morning and welcome to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security Systems Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. John Cornell, Shane Matthews on a Friday edition. We have
end of the week, brother.
Yeah, end of the week. We got Tim Walton,
Woo.
head softball coach of the University of Florida, two-time national champ, joining the program about 8:40. So make sure you're tuning in there. If you want to send a text on the Titan MR text line, shoot us a text and we'll pass that along to Tim
And you
Walton.
can, of course, remember to listen to the show on iTunes and Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook Live and send us any kinds of comments or questions on those devices. Potupwithshane.com also gets you in there. And we are ready to go Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 o'clock. QB, end of the week, you mentioned Tim Walton. Did you know that he was, we've seen how much success he's had as coach of the softball team, but this guy was I think he was the second fastest coach to reach. Well, if he wins 6 games if he has 6 wins over the next 16 games, he will be the second fastest coach. Yeah, to reach 900 wins in Division I in softball history, behind
Mike Candrea
of Arizona, and that is
you didn't think I knew that, did you?
Well, I did think you knew that. I was just giving you a chance to hit the ball out there as I lobbed that pitch to you. Get it? Lob the pitch. Although in softball, there's no lobbing.
But in a co-ed league you play in.
I did play in a co-ed league, and I also played in a campus champion intramural league where we had softball in the 80s, and we won the campus championship at the University of Alabama, and then we went to Auburn down in Selma and took them out in 3 straight games. I was second baseman, and I was the leadoff hitter because of how fast I was. Candrea did it in 17 seasons. This is Tim Walton's 18th season. It's hard for me to believe.
It's 15th here, though.
Right, 15th here, but 18th season as a coach. But you did mention 15 here, and it is hard to believe that it's been 15 years since he's taken over the reins at the softball program. And, we know him pretty well. We've been to Oklahoma City a couple of times to watch them play. And, his family and everybody who supports softball, he's done such a wonderful job. And, his son pitching for Santa Fe College now. And he's got 2 other children and a beautiful wife, Samantha. So I'm just thrilled about the Waltons. I love them, and I think the Gators are year in and year out perennial contenders to win the national title. And having done that in a conference that before he got here was non-existent as it related to softball because of the Pac-12, or Pac-10 actually is what it was back then, and put the SEC on the map, I think Florida was responsible for putting the SEC on the map in softball, along with Alabama. They're the only 2 schools to win the national championship.
Before both of them.
But Tennessee doesn't have a title.
No, but they got to the College Women's World Series.
Okay, that's true. Monica
else.
Abbott was a great pitcher for them, and you're right about that. Tennessee,
you don't mess with my softball.
Well, now you added to that, true, but I'm not wrong about Alabama and Florida.
No,
but they're the only 2 championship winners in the SEC. But still, Florida to me, I guess you could say Tennessee, but Florida to me was the team with the quickest success at that level. When it came to competing against UCLA and Arizona State and Arizona and Oklahoma and all the great softball teams. So softball is an interesting sport here in the spring, and it really helps bridge the gap between, I guess, spring football and summer.
Yep, softball kicks off today, opening day down in Tampa, and then next Friday, Valentine's Day, Gator baseball kicks off. In Gator football news, got a new tight end coach, outstanding hire, Tim Brewster. He's coached at Florida State. He's coached in the National Football League. They snagged him from Mac Brown's staff in North Carolina. Tremendous recruiter. The Gator Nation says Dan doesn't have good enough recruiters on staff. Well, this is as good as he could find.
Really? They say that after this class they just pulled in?
People are not happy, JC.
Why?
Because we don't have all these 5 stars that Alabama and Georgia get. But like I try to tell people, until we're on a level playing field, it's hard for us to compete. And for us to be 8th, 7th, 8th in the country with not having everything that everybody else has, they've done an outstanding job, period.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you're fighting a war with arrows instead of machine guns sometimes in these cases. I guess that's a bad analogy, but you know what I'm saying. And, they'll get it. They'll get it. It'll come. And, Mullen's going to be here for a very, very long time, I would guess.
Yeah, and then we don't talk NBA on this a lot, JC, but
we can.
Do you follow the NBA trades? They are so complicated to me. I don't quite understand them.
I couldn't tell you who the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies was either.
Right, but they're doing a bunch of trades going on right now. And they're like 4 or 5
the trade deadline.
trades.
Is it the trading deadline? Or
but
something?
The reason I brought it up was last night the Rockets, they traded away Clint Capella, who's their starting center. They beat the LA Lakers last night with not having a guy over 6'7" in an NBA game. Not one player was over 6'7" that played for the Rockets, and they won.
I can't.
They blew the Lakers out.
The rhyme or reason behind that. In the Staples Center, they did that in LeBron's house.
Yes.
Wow.
It's fascinating though when you think about it.
It is.
No player over 6'7".
6'7". Yeah, they just ran up and down and shot it.
Well, that's what the Rockets do.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
that is kind of amazing.
And then in college hoops this weekend, a lot of games.
games.
LSU's at Auburn, which should be a tremendous game.
That'll be a good one.
Kentucky at Tennessee.
LSU's losing that game too.
Florida plays at 2 o'clock. They play at Ole Miss. Arkansas's at Missouri. Alabama's at Georgia. Vandy at State, and A&M at South Carolina. The big game is Duke, North Carolina. This is what's amazing, though, JC. North Carolina stinks this year.
Bad, yeah.
But in the last 100 games, what do you think the record is?
50-50.
Oh, you saw that, didn't you?
No, but if you were going to ask me a question like that, that's the logical guess.
Okay, not only have they both won 50 games in the last 100, they've both scored the same amount of points.
Now that's even more credible.
It's like 7,644 points. Both teams, same exact amount of points.
That is incredible. What are the odds of that? But 50-50, huh? Well, Duke's winning this one. They'll be 51-50 in the last 101 games.
You know what?
This weekend, I would guess.
I dropped the ball today, JC. I forgot we have another guest that's going to be. We're going to be calling here in just a minute because we are promoting the XFL. G.A. Mangus.
Oh, I love Gus. So he must have watched yesterday. Obviously, watched Scotty Spurrier yesterday and said, "I've got to get on there."
You think he was jealous?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he probably figuring, "Oh man, look at all this attention the Dallas Renegades are going to get," and this is the New York team.
The Guardians.
The Guardians. And, that's exciting to me. I'm a big GA fan, a former offensive coordinator.
He was my backup.
He was your backup, and he was the offensive coordinator at South Carolina under Coach Spurrier, and also Middle Tennessee State, right?
Yep,
Middle Tennessee State. So that'll be good to hear from him. So we'll have him and talk more XFL. You're into this XFL, QB.
I enjoy
pretty
football.
Soon we're going to have to get you to predict some of these games.
Well, yeah, I couldn't
we'll have to
tell
watch
you
the first weekend.
You
have to watch.
I knew Orlando was going to be good in the Alliance because I knew about their offense.
What was going on there? Yeah,
I know nothing about this. GA's the quarterback coach for the New York team. Kevin Gilbride is their head coach. I do know that.
I do. I've heard that name. I bet you it's a safe bet to say that when they score a touchdown, they'll be at least going for 2 every time. Or 3.
Well, you have to.
Well, you can go for 1.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You can go for 1, but I'll bet you they're going for 2 or 3 every time.
It'll be interesting to see what the strategy is. You know, when you're down, I can understand when that'll make the decision much easier. But let's just say the Guardians go down and score the opening possession. What do? Do we go from the 5, or the 2, the 5, or the 10?
I'm going to say the 5 is going to be the most popular.
And when you get 2 points there,
you get 2 for 5 at the 5. So I'm going to guess it's 5. But when you only need 1, and obviously sometimes playing from the 5 or the 10 is better than playing from the 2 QB.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that's the way it is. Don't forget, text us on the Titan MRI hotline, 352-353-7465. I believe we have the one and only G.A. Mangus.
G.A.,
what's
Cornell,
happening?
Shane Matthews, how you doing, my man?
How you doing, JC? What's happening?
I'm so happy to hear from you, and really excited about your opportunity you have up here in New York. You've got to give us some information here. What's going on?
Well, dodging the rain and cold right now. Getting ready to go. It's kind of been a long process, and the way the league's set up, it's kind of a neat deal, and you have some time off. We get together for meetings over the last 6 months, here and there, do a lot of technology over the phone and over the internet and over the computer, and you get a little 3-week training camp, 3-week OTA, and now we're finally here at the season. So been a long process to finally get to this point, and opening weekend's right on us, so it's great.
Yeah, we're speaking with G.A. Mangus, former Florida Gator, coach with Coach Spurrier at South Carolina, my former teammate here. He's the quarterback coach for your New York Guardians. G.A., we had Scotty on yesterday. He kind of explained a little bit about the new rules and stuff. So tell me this, okay, so let's say the Guardians take the opening drive. Do y'all play Saturday or Sunday?
We play Sunday.
Okay, so you take the opening drive, you go down and score. Are you going to go from the 2, the 5, or the 10?
Well, you don't know. The game, the opening drive, you probably want to go ahead and just try to get you one. Mm-hmm. And I think analytics are such a big part of the game, all games today. And, we don't have a sample size yet because we hadn't played. In terms of the success rates, and there are some analytics out there that you take from years of the NFL. You've got to kind of predict it based off, say, 4th and goal from the 5, 4th and goal from the 10, and such, and see what the percentages are, and do the math from there. But the unique thing about it is that you have that opportunity. So you've got to have that thinking that you're never, if you're 9 points down, you're still 1 score down.
G.A., this is
with a 3-pointer.
Three-pointer.
Yeah, this is, you've been a longtime college coach for at pretty much every level. This is your first time working with quote pro athletes. How's it been in the meeting rooms on out on the field working with guys that don't have to worry about going to class?
Well, it's different. I mean, all levels of football. I've been doing it 29 years now, and you know as well as I do. We had plenty of teammates, yourself included, that were pros, and so we've all been exposed. Just because you coach college, you've coached pros, you played with pros. So you kind of, I saw at an early age of who they are, how they carry themselves, and so whether it was South Carolina, Florida, or anywhere else that I've been through the years. So it hadn't been a whole lot different. It's still a game of football, but the differences have been easy to pick up. In the meeting rooms, and it's their job, and they don't have to go to class, and you don't have to worry about some of those other things. It's just all ball all the time. Yeah. So it's been fun. That part of it's been great. Are there things that I miss about, recruiting and stuff? Believe it or not, there are. Mm-hmm. But this being in year 1 and in the XFL is great because it's kind of like that. You're meeting new people, meeting new faces all the time, and a whole new group, just like you do in college.
Well, Coach, give us familiarize us with some of the players that we may know of that play for you and your team, and also with Coach Gilbride. What's it like learning and dealing with him and coaching alongside him, a former offensive assistant coach in the NFL and a guy that most people are very familiar with? What can we expect out of your New York guys?
Well, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fast. He comes from a passing background and a balanced offense, through the years when he was at New York, some run and shoot, and obviously my background of throwing it around the yard, and with the evolving of that offense through the years of what we did at Florida versus South Carolina versus, now, and combining and meshing those together with a guy like him who's had a lot of success and is well respected. I had respected him from far. I'd never had met him before I got a chance to interview with him last spring, and it's been great. Definitely learned some stuff from him, and it's been fun meshing it together and seeing how it's all coming together.
How about some of the players? Do we know of it?
Matt McGloin is our quarterback. From Penn State. Right. Played with the Oakland Raiders for 4 years, and the Kansas City Chiefs was his last stop, and he's a smart kid. He's used to playing up here in this kind of weather. Having been in Central Pennsylvania and playing those games in Happy Valley, and we've got some wideout D'Angelo Yancey from Purdue, and Mikhail McKay, a big tall receiver from Cincinnati, who all these guys. Ian Silberman, who was a Gator, who people be familiar with, our center, Joe Horn's son is a slot receiver for us, and we've got guys from all backgrounds, all schools, all over the country, and most of them have all been on NFL rosters, at one time or another, and they're definitely pros, and they're here for different reasons, looking for another shot or just to continue to play, and it's been fun running into those guys during training camp and stuff. Some of the ones I recruited or played against, coached against, or coached, through the years.
We're speaking with G.A. Mangus, quarterback coach for the New York Guardians of the XFL.
I have my New York hat on.
Former teammate here at the University of Florida, coached with Coach Spurrier with South Carolina. Last thing for you, G.A., because I know you got to get back to a meeting, and we appreciate you joining the program. Can't let you go without you're kind of been afar of the Florida program. Your thoughts about what Dan Mullen has done in his 2 years here?
Oh, it's been great. I got a chance to watch. I hadn't been to a game in a while, just for obvious reasons. The last time, I was down there was when we played, when I was coaching down there at South Carolina and playing in the Swamp. But I've gotten a chance to watch it, and they're looking like they're, they're making progress and getting back to the top of the East like we all expect them to be. And, he's done a great job, and I know Dan a little bit and through common people and coaching against each other and that kind of stuff. But, I think they're getting to that threshold where now they can, realistically, I think all Gators now can kind of see the end of the rainbow and see a chance of getting back, getting in the playoffs and getting back to where we all expect to go. So it's going to be, I look forward to the future, and here's what year 3 now coming up, and, starting to get all those type of players that he's looking for and to build the program. So I think it's on the up and up, and I think everybody's excited about it and excited about the future.
Well, we're excited about your opportunity with the XFL, and we certainly want to wish you all the best in New York and with your family, and of course take the right subways up there, because you can get kind of turned around. Real quick, where are you going to play? Where's your
Meadowlands?
Oh, they're in the
we're playing in MetLife. We're playing in MetLife Stadium.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're playing in MetLife. So,
all right, my man.
Got it all decked out with Guardians colors, and it's our home ballpark for the next 10 weeks.
Love it. Well, hey, good luck to you, Coach.
Get your golf games ready.
I'm going to be ready.
May.
Don't you worry.
I'll see you in May. All right.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
That's G.A. Mangus, quarterback coach for the New York Guardians and former Gator.
Now fan.
And I forgot he was going to be joining the program. We've been texting back and forth. No, here's the deal. We've been texting back and forth, and he's so busy with meetings, this, that, and the other. And it was like a week ago. He's like, "Yeah, I can come on Friday." Well, he texted me just a few minutes ago. I tried to get confirmation. He never returned my text.
Well, listen. So now we have favorite teams. Okay, now we can say that we can watch the XFL, and we can say in the East we are absolutely rooting for New York. New York, see? And in the West, we are absolutely rooting for Dallas, the Renegades.
What about your team down in Tampa?
Who do I know there?
Well, you love the Lightning. Who do you know there?
That's hockey.
Let's
QB.
just say whoever wins.
No, we are rooting for New York, and we are rooting for Dallas to play in the XFL Bowl. What's it called? Where's that? Where's their championship game?
I don't know that, but they are playing.
How do you not know that?
They are playing the championship game, I believe, the Sunday of the NFL draft.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the NFL draft, not the first round, right? It would be is that when it starts? The first round is on Sunday. I mean,
they're only playing 10 games.
Yeah.
The NFL draft is at the end of April.
Right.
So you got all of February.
Well,
you got March. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure. We'll have Taylor look that up.
Yeah,
possibly.
Taylor, you got to look that up. And I'm fired up. I don't know.
Well, we're going to take our.
How many other podcasts can you watch with an XFL coaches on there?
two
straight days before the season starts, before the first game, which is tomorrow.
Tomorrow and Sunday.
Gee whiz.
Hey, you're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the morning. We'll be right back from the Crime Prevention Security Systems Studios.
Time out! Time out! Hey! Time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care. Gators Dockside, wings, ribs, seafood, and beer.
Bob in trouble, gets rid of it. Oh, big hit.
Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okita America Martial Arts and After School, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, UF Mover Guys, Union Home Mortgages, Adams Ribs, Cloud9 Spa, Wrap Spot, Cold Stone Creamery.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie Wiebe at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown!
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. If you want to send us a text or call in, the number is 352-353-7465. Excuse me. If you want to check us out on Twitter, the handle is @MatthewsMorning. As we mentioned, Gator football, new tight end coach, great recruiter, Tim Brewster's joining the staff. Also, I don't know if this is breaking news, but I think, JC, you'll be excited about this. I think I told you before the show. Yeah. When you go, because we're going to have Tim Walton at 8:40.
8:40.
When you go to the
minutes.
softball, when you go to the hole watch the Gators play softball, they're going to be selling beer.
Huh?
Are you excited?
What? God.
I don't know what kind of beer.
I love
Maybe
Scott
Tim will
Strickland.
know.
Well, that's that. I mean, it's the way it should be. I mean, we're all grown-ups now. I mean, come on. Kids, you bring your ID, and if you're not old enough, you can't drink. If you are, you can. It's an adult world.
I agree with that. We're also we're gonna be giving away.
I think that's great. I would rather do that than drink some watered down or sugar filled Sierra Mist. Honest to God, I would.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't drink Sierra Mist.
No, we're gonna give away. And I think I think the Brain Trust wanted to do this. They wanted to send Facebook Live comments, tweet us, text us, go to potupwithshane.com. Send your comments about what you like about our show, what you don't like, what you want we need to add, and whoever the Brain Trust decides and picks the winner that they like the best, we're going to give away a total of 6 tickets to the opening day, which is February 12th against North Florida softball. We're going to give a pair of 2 tickets, and then we're going to give 4 together. So it's a total of 6, but we're going to break it up. 2 and
general
4.
admission and 4 reserved. So
no,
4 together.
They're all reserved.
They're all reserved.
I'm putting 4 together, and then 2 together instead of doing 6.
Well, I used to just walk in the place.
You don't do that anymore, folks.
Okay.
It's sold out.
Well, it's good stuff. I mean, look, we were some of the founding fathers of the popularity of softball here. Okay, we were back in the radio days. Okay, now we've evolved to the podcast days, just as the softball team's home field has evolved into a real facility serving real beverages and not a bunch of candy to people who don't need to be filling up on sugar all day. So this is good. And I'm really excited that now you have to have a ticket to get in there instead of just straggle on in there half awake and hope that you can fall asleep somewhere or watch a game and then just leave. I think it's wonderful. Now, it's time for a Gator basketball quiz. We're more or less at the halfway point of the season, QB, and you are an expert. So I'm going to ask you 4 very easy questions that I expect a 100% grade. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Who has the most points on the team? Who has scored the most points on the team?
I would probably say Kerry Blackshear.
Kerry Blackshear is correct. Can we get like some fans or somebody cheering when he gets the right answer, Taylor? Can I get a if he misses it? You know, you got to get something in there when he gives me the answer. So Kerry Blackshear Jr., I'm a junior, has 300.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
So when you played at Buchholz,
did
you have Cornell Jr. on the back of your jersey?
I did not. No, because we didn't put names on our jerseys. We just had numbers.
Like the Yankees?
Yes.
But would you put Cornell Jr. on the back of your jersey?
No, I don't think I would. Well,
You know,
maybe I
that
would.
came
You know, I
about
might.
in the last couple of years. People
Yeah, it
used to
did.
not do that.
Yeah, and now we see the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th. All right, so you are correct. You are 1 for 1, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's a tough one now. I'll leave the tough one last. Who has the highest free throw percentage for the Florida Gators?
Well, I'd probably say,
That's a tough one.
the best free throw shooter is Noah Locke,
Okay,
but he doesn't get to the line very often.
right.
So he should have a high percentage.
Well, that's very logical, but the answer is Scotty Lewis, who is shooting 81.5% from.
I would have never guessed that.
There you go.
I would
All
have
right.
never guessed
Now,
that.
you may not get this one either, but it's okay. Maybe I shouldn't have expected 100% because these are tough. Who has the highest three-point field goal percentage for the Florida Gators?
Deontay Johnson.
Oh! Yes, that's correct. With he's shooting almost 42%. Where's my crowd? Where's my applause?
Give me a golf
Dear
clap.
Lord. Who has the final question? Who has the highest field goal percentage on the team? Now, if you think about this, you should get this because you would think it's going to be probably. You want me to give you a hint?
Can I phone a friend?
Well, you can, but that
Okay, give me the hint.
It gives us some dead air there. Low, he's in the post, the low post.
It's not Black Sheep.
No, so
It's not Omar Payne.
It's Omar Payne.
Well, he doesn't have enough attempts, probably.
64%.
Yeah, but how many attempts does
I know
he have?
he
compared-
doesn't play as much, but these are the answers. So if you like right answers, correct, you can make up your own answers and pretend like you're right, like many people I know do in politics. Just make something up that's true, and I'm right. There you go. So Florida plays Ole Miss,
We just got
Mississippi.
a text from the Titan MR text line. It's
Oh.
from Fred. He actually says, "Guys, do y'all think we can win at Ole Miss?"
Oh, yeah. Why not? I mean,
Well-
what is Ole Miss? I know they're okay. So they've won a game.
They've won a couple games.
How
but
many
my-
have they? What's their record in the SEC?
But my point is,
They're tough.
we played them here and
They're
we blew
tough.
them out. But
They're
they didn't
tough.
have Breen Tyree,
right?
their best player. They didn't
Yeah.
have their big man either in this game.
Sure.
Ole Miss, the Pavilion, they play people very,
do.
very tough there.
Well, so
I
should
do
I-
think, though, the game it's a 1 o'clock start there, so 2 o'clock Eastern time.
That's right.
I think that plays in our favor because we know how those folks in Oxford
Yeah.
like to get liquored up. I wonder if Morgan Freeman will be at the game. He goes a lot of
I
basketball
wonder
games.
if Becker Sams will be at the game.
Well-
So I mean, Morgan Freeman, Becker Sams. I mean, these are famous people, famous Ole Miss Rebels. Rebels are 2-6. The Black Bears, the Sharks, whatever they are. I mean, really, what are they? They are 2-6. They're overall 4-8. This is an old. Let's see, 4-8. What does that say? Overall 4-8 no, that's football. Oh my God, Taylor, you're making me read the wrong stuff. It says Ole Miss Rebels football. They're not 2-6. Here we go. They are 2-7. Okay, so we missed one there. They are 11 overall. But you're right, QB. They are 8-4 at home. Percentage-wise, that's as good as most. The other schools that play really well at home include Mississippi State, Kentucky, Auburn, LSU.
They had Auburn and LSU beat, and then somehow
Your Gators
lost
have
the
won
game.
8 games. Yes, they did, and they could have easily won those games. It is certainly an advantage to play at home. They're only 1-6 away, but they did win their last game. So Mississippi comes in at 2-7, just ahead of Georgia. Vanderbilt at 1-8, but they're tied with Missouri and Georgia at 2-7. Florida in there fourth, solid fourth. At 6-3, only one game behind Auburn and Kentucky. Imagine that. All the belly aching and moaning and groaning we had a week or so ago. And this team is one game out of second place. They are only 2 games out of first. They are only 2 games behind the Louisiana State Tigers, who are 8-1 in the league. So the Gators at 6-3 could get a big road win. It would really help the old resume, as you say, to win a road game, even though they're beating a team that has a bad record. Winning on the road is everything when it comes down to deciding whether or not somebody should get in or out, I think. I mean, that's a big tiebreaker, if you will.
I mean, you know what's amazing? We're talking college basketball right now,
Yeah.
but I was just thinking about it because I brought up
Look at all
the
these
Duke
teams.
North Carolina,
Yeah.
big rivalry game
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah.
North Carolina's not going to make the NCAA tournament.
No, I think
unless they win the ACC
they have
tournament.
to win the ACC tournament. But there's a lot of really good games. I think that Kansas TCU game this weekend should be good. Michigan State is being played. We've got the North Carolina Duke game, as you said. Miami's playing at Florida State. The Seminoles are ranked 8th. For all you Seminole fans out there, your team is highly ranked this year, looking pretty good. Purdue plays Indiana. That's always a big rivalry game. Purdue coming off a 106-point game. Here's a game that I think could be interesting is West Virginia at Oklahoma. Oklahoma at home plays pretty well, and West Virginia's ranked 13th. And right now, I've seen West Virginia seeded as high as 2 or 3 in the tournament.
Well, like I told you, it
West Virginia.
Doesn't matter if you're a 1 seed or a 5 or 6 seed.
But that surprises
Anybody
me.
can
Did
win
that
this
not
year.
surprise you that they would be that considered that high?
They're a good squad.
They are. Texas Tech is at Texas. Virginia plays at Louisville. That could be an interesting game in the ACC. So this is a good weekend for basketball. I think there's some pretty good games. Of course, every weekend's a good weekend for basketball. And I don't know. I think there's some pretty good games we have this weekend. That North Carolina game is in Chapel Hill with Duke. It's a night game at 6 o'clock. And as I just scroll through some of the games this weekend, you got some pretty good matchups. So, I don't know. The Gonzaga team, I know a lot of folks follow Gonzaga.
They're never going to lose.
They're not. They play St. Mary's. They're number 2.
That'll be the only team that may give them a game. St. Mary's is always
Mary's in
deep.
that conference?
They're usually decent. But,
Well, what are you going to watch? I mean, you're going to watch Florida, but you got any?
Yeah, I hate it when we play these Saturday day games.
Yeah, I
like the night game
games
better.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll probably try to watch it. If not, I'll tape it.
Yeah.
TiVo it, whatever, and go
TiVo?
from there. Not TiVo. But
TiVo.
We got a phone call here, JC. Let me see if the phone works.
Plug
today.
it in. We got to plug in our calls.
Welcome to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning. Who we got on the air?
Hey, buddy, we got Chris from McClenny, Wildcat Country.
Yes, sir. How you doing, my man? What you got? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good. Wonderful. But I got a question for you. Hey, JC, good to see you.
Hey, Chris.
Me being a quarterback in my younger days, like you, Shane, I always wondered how would Johnny Brantley, maybe Kyle this year, how would they have been in Steve Spurrier's offense back in the day?
Well, Brantley basically ran Spurrier's offense at Trinity Catholic, and he was as good a high school quarterback as I ever saw. Coached very well by Kerwin Bell, and obviously he's got great bloodlines with his dad and his uncle playing here. He just didn't fit with in my opinion what Urban wants to do offensively. I thought he probably should have gone to Texas or even gone. I think Coach Spurrier was at South Carolina at that time. He would have been a great fit for him. He would have been
with that arm he's got?
perfect quarterback for the Spurrier system.
Yeah, I always liked how strong his arm was. He throw it through a wall.
But that's what I was going to say, same thing. And, I mean, we've had a lot of talent quarterbacks over the year, but I thought Johnny Brantley, if he'd have ever got in that Spurrier offense, he would have – I don't know if he'd have been a fine quarterback.
I agree 100%.
I think he would have stayed healthier, too. I think even though he may have thrown the ball more, he may have had better protection schemes. I don't know. It just seemed like he was always running for his life in that offense they had. And it was just difficult to try to get into any kind of rhythm when you're on your back, getting lifted up after every other play. It's difficult. So,
Right.
But listen, we love the guy, and maybe we'll have him on the show one day if he can make the time. I don't know. He's a very busy guy, this guy Brantley. He's very, very busy, extremely busy.
But Shane, I'll leave you with this, Shane. My last game I got to see you was I know you remember the Fog Bowl. I never got to see you the third or fourth quarter. It seems like you disappeared up top there in the NC State game in the Gator Bowl.
Yep, that was a
who
good
can
one.
forget that
I
one?
got one of the coolest pictures of me. It's just me standing, and I don't know if the person that took it cropped everybody out, but it's just me, and then you from halfway up my back up because it's from behind. From my helmet up, and the entire photo is just this huge cloud of fog.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool picture.
Who could forget that?
It's all in black and white.
I gotta say, QB, outside of thank you for the call, Chris. I gotta say that outside of Florida Field, where you never lost,
Nope.
outside of Florida Field and maybe Commonwealth Stadium, where you were always good, I'd say that Jacksonville Gator Bowl was probably your second favorite stadium to play in because you beat Georgia all 4 times. You won the job in the orange and blue game the year that they named you the starter. And then, of course, you won the Fog Bowl. So, I mean, can you recall? I mean, your House of Horrors has to be what's that place in Starkville or
Well, we weren't very good my senior year
Tennessee,
early.
maybe. But
Tennessee, I lost twice.
yeah, so maybe Tennessee is your House of Horrors, but your House of Pleasure would be the.
Never really thought of it that way, JC.
It would be, well, think about it. Your success in Jacksonville, and that counts because I had to drive up there and watch it.
Yep.
So it matters to all of us.
All right, well, we're going to take our second time out here. We're going to be joined by Tim Walton, head
Oh,
softball
here we
coach
go.
of your Gator softball
Seventh-ranked
team.
Gator
We'll be right back.
softball
Pot up
team.
with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
Time out!
Hey,
Time out!
thank you.
Hey, time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care. Gators Dockside, wings, ribs, seafood, and beer.
Bob in trouble, gets rid of it. Oh, big hit.
Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okita America Martial Arts and After School, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, UF Mover Guys, Union Home Mortgages, Adams Ribs, Cloud9 Spa, Wrap Spot, Cold Stone Creamery.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie Wiebe at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown!
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. If you want to send us a text on the Titan MRI text line, we're going to have Tim Walton here join us soon. Just try to give him a call. He must be busy. He'll call us back, though. We're going to be talking. They crank up tonight down in Tampa at the USF Invitational.
Yeah.
Some good ball clubs down there. They open up tonight with the Redbirds from Illinois State. Then they'll play Fresno State, Michigan, Georgia State, and South Florida. I know South Florida always has a good program as well as Michigan. So, I mean, heck, they play, I think, 5 games in 2 days or 3 days, something like that.
And you can do that in softball. What I find interesting about this whole thing is that this is the 7th straight year, QB, that they are opening the season against the Redbirds. 7th straight.
Really?
7th straight season. And also, of course, this is the 7th straight time they've played in this tournament to open up the season. So you've got Michigan. You've got, Michigan's a great program. You've got South Florida. You've got Georgia State. That's a school out of Atlanta.
The Panthers.
Yep, it's a school out of Atlanta, and of course the Redbirds. Florida has winning records against all of these teams, and then of course South Florida. But this is a great place to open up the season, get things going, and get the team going. Hey, listen, if you've missed some of our shows, you can always go back and watch previous episodes of our shows that are archived on Pod Up with Shane, podupwithshane.com. You can go to YouTube and pull it up, Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning, and Facebook, and I'll be there too. But I think it's.
Well, you know what's amazing about the.
And Fresno State's rolling in.
Yeah, you know what's amazing about the softball. So this is Tim's 15th year. They've been to Oklahoma City 10 times. They've played for the national title in the championship series 5 times. Won it twice, obviously back to back in 14 and 15. I was trying to remember who they lost to. We lost to Washington with Danielle Laurie.
I want to say UCLA with Megan. What was her name?
Well, they
Megan.
lost to Arizona State in the championship series too.
Washington. Was it UCLA one of those teams?
Maybe
not.
Did we lose to Alabama? No, we lost to Oklahoma.
No, it was Oklahoma Sooners. Patty. Gasso, the legendary coach at Oklahoma. I really think if you had a Mount Rushmore of softball coaches, you put Patty Gasso up there, you put
Mike
Candrea,
Candrea.
you put Tim, and maybe you put one of the older UCLA coaches, whoever, because that's the program I think that was considered like they're the all-time winningest softball program or something. It only makes sense. Of course, they have one of the poorest looking facilities I've ever seen for a program of that status. When you watch a game and you're watching UCLA play at home, you could be watching a high school in Texas or in Georgia or in Florida, because they're basically in bleachers and pine trees. And the press box looks like something that was built with a hammer and a couple of nails. So, I mean, it really does, right?
No, it does.
I mean,
It
it's that's UCLA softball, everybody. That's what that is. But that's the program I think that, I guess, got softball going.
Well, softball was all about the West Coast and the Pac-12, Pac-10
That's
back
right.
in those
Yeah,
days.
total West Coast.
Yeah.
But this fella from Oklahoma shows up in Florida and ends up getting players out of California, and now we have a program at Florida that we're all very proud of, and certainly will be hosting, I guess, an SEC tournament here maybe next year.
I believe it is next year. And again, we're hoping to have Tim Walton.
Lance says, "Stop jockeying, Chase." I was jockeying you, QB.
I don't know what that means.
I have no idea, but it sounded funny. I guess talking about your House of Horrors at Tennessee and so forth. What other messages do we have there on Facebook Live? We've got Brett says, "What team hat do I not?" I have every hat, Brett. I have every hat. I'm a hat guy. Freddie says, "Great guests coming on." Yes, we had G.A. Mangus earlier in the hour. You can always go back and watch that interview. And of course, we had Scotty Spurrier yesterday of the XFL. Tim Walton. Here's a question for you from Rick. Coach, he saw two parallel lines on the pitcher's mound while watching the TV news. What are they for? What are parallel lines? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Oh, well, he's talking about, if you can look right there. See those lines?
Okay.
Oh, wait. No, I'm on the wrong screen. The screen in the circle. If we go to the circle, JC, move out of the way. Right there. See them?
Aha. Yes.
See them right?
There they
yeah,
are.
there.
Right there.
You have to stay within that. I don't know all the rules. There's so many different rules.
That's a pitcher's thing.
Yeah.
Remember when Stephanie, what was her name? Stephanie
Brombacher
had all these issues with her foot lifting up off the rubber?
Yeah, because your back foot has to stay on contact with the ground.
And of course, so many pitchers don't do that. It's an arbitrary call by the umpires. John, Coach Staples, top of the morning. Good to have you with us as well. It's great to have the podcast. You can reach us anywhere and online. So that's fun to be able to reach and get out there. What do you got there? You got the...
I'm just waiting. We're waiting on Tim Walton.
Waiting on Tim?
Yep, he must be busy loading up the bus.
Prepping.
They're driving out of Tampa sometime
Got
today.
some really exciting players coming back. We'll hear from him as I ask him about some of these players. The team is led by a senior named Kendall Lindemann. And Kendall is a 3-time NFCA All-American. And there are only 2 players prior to Kendall to have won that award who played at Florida. Can you name them, QB?
Wait, what's the award?
The NFCA All-American Award. Kendall's a 3-time winner, and there are only 2 prior Gators.
Amanda Lorenz.
No.
Well, I don't know what this award is, because Amanda Lorenz is the greatest player we've ever had.
Is she?
Yes. Lauren Hager?
Yes, Lauren Hager.
Stacey Nelson?
No, Kelly Barnhill. So
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe
how did she win that? She's only been here 1 year. She's a transfer from
Kendall
Minnesota.
Lindemann's a senior.
She's a transfer from Minnesota.
She's a 3-time winner of that award. So she won it once here, and she probably won it twice up there. But there's only 2 other Gators who have won that award as well.
Well, whatever that award is, needs to check it.
Let's ask him.
Because Amanda Lorenz
this off Gators.
Amanda Lorenz is the greatest softball player
I
we've ever
liked Kelsey Stewart, in my opinion.
Yeah, but she didn't do everything Amanda Lorenz did. So anyway, Celebration Point is where the Gators come to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Nike, Palmetto, Moon, Regal Cinemas, and coming soon, the head ball coach's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators come to celebrate. Still hoping to have Tim on.
Did Tim tell you that she was the greatest player that ever played at Florida?
Well, he can't say that, but I guarantee if you poll...
She doesn't play anymore, does she?
No.
He can say anything he wants.
He's going to upset the other people, Jace. You can't do that.
Look, I'm Steve Spurrier, and I'm coaching the Gators, I can absolutely say
well,
that
I'll do this right here.
so-and-so was a great
If we
quarterback
have
at
all our
Florida.
softball listeners, and like I said, we're supposed to have Tim on. If he doesn't come on today, he will come back. He must have got tied up.
right.
But I will say this.
Okay.
If you poll the Gator Nation that watches softball and you ask
They'll
them who
say
the greatest
Amanda
player,
Lorenz
it will be
was
Amanda Lorenz, hands down.
Okay. Well,
Hands down.
Hands down.
Now, softball is predicated mostly off pitching.
Yes.
So most people will probably say Lauren Hager or Brombacher or Stacy Nelson or Kelly Barnhill. But the best overall player they've ever had is Amanda
I
Lorenz.
liked Kelsey Stewart. She hit 400.
She was a good player too. But
I mean,
Amanda
well-
Lorenz was the best I've seen since I've been watching
Amanda
for the 15
Lorenz.
years.
Okay. All right. Well,
But she's gone. So
She's gone. But I mean, if you're a coach, you can't say who some of your greatest players were
Well,
at
he
the
will-
program.
I
mean,
can
you don't
promise
think
you-
Dan Mullen can't say that Tim Tebow was one of the greatest
Yes,
quarterbacks
but-
at Florida?
But I will promise you, he will say Amanda Lorenz.
Okay. Well, yeah, I might ask him that. Maybe off air, so I won't make you mad.
Clifford says, any word on Charlie Strong? Last thing I heard, he and Kerwin will be
Yeah.
analysts. Probably won't happen until March sometime. But again, people, it's just an analyst job. They can't do any coaching on the field. They can only sit in on meetings.
Right.
They can walk around with clipboards
They can
like
give-
this, making notes
and
at
then
practice.
They sit in on those meetings. They can tell the coach what they think.
Yeah.
And what they saw, and he can take that feedback and go with it.
And
as he will.
most of what they do as analysts, they're not really involved with the Gator team. They're looking and breaking down the opponents. So they will sit and look at our opponents
Yeah.
and try to find weaknesses.
So
or
like
tendencies.
scouts.
That's basically what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the real benefit there is that they can continue to get paid from the school they left, or who fired them, I guess, and stay in the business as they move up to another position. Unless you're, of course, Butch Jones, who loves to stand on the sideline in crimson and white with Nick Saban. I don't know when he'll coach again, but he was not very successful at Tennessee, but had a pretty good salary, and they have to finish paying him. So he's wearing crimson and white colors on the sideline at Alabama, an arch rival, but Tennessee's paying him. It's the greatest. I mean, really, you got to think that coaching football, if you're fortunate enough to get to that level, and there's not many jobs out there in the big scheme of business. There really isn't. But if you can get there, man, it is. I know it's hard and it's a lot of work, but what else do they know, right? It's coaching.
Yeah.
That's what coaches do.
Yep, and it's hard for them to get away from it.
It
You know,
is.
How many of them
Virtually
retire or
impossible.
say they're done and then bam, they're right back
Rocky
in it.
Long is a guy who is 70 years old, leaving San Diego to go coach at New Mexico for one of his former coaches to help him out. But at 70 years old, living in San Diego, you would think maybe that's a good place to just shut it down. But Rocky says, no, I'm going to Albuquerque. And I'm 70 and I feel like I'm 50, so good for him. I hope when I'm 70, I feel like 50.
You might. Yeah, some NFL news. Eric Weddle, longtime safety,
the
played for
Rams.
multiple teams,
13
Rams,
years.
Ravens, Chargers.
Yeah.
He's hanging it up.
Hanging it up, but man, 13 years in that league, wow, that is a great career. That is considered a very rare thing, isn't it, QB? Over 10 years, what were you, 13 or 14 years?
Yeah, the average career is like 2.3 years.
Anthony loves your knowledge, Shane, on Facebook
Yes,
Live.
full of knowledge.
Anthony loves your knowledge. I
Well,
guess,
I guess we're not going to have Tim today.
we can tee him up
he's-
later.
Yeah, we'll get him later. in
you
the
know,
week.
it's almost sometimes better after a couple games, and then he can tell you what he liked and what he didn't like.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It's okay. They are playing in Tampa, folks. If you're just joining us, Tim Walton is leading his Gators to open the season against the Illinois State Redbirds. 7th straight year they've done it. This is the USF Rawlings Invitational. The Gators are 22-1 in their opening game of the season. 22-1.
Who did we lose to?
They're a safe bet, and I don't know that answer. But that must have been a bad day. Michigan, South Florida, Fresno State, Georgia State, and Illinois State all there. Coach Walton has 894 career wins in 18 seasons. He is he only needs 6 wins over the next 16 games to become the second fastest coach to reach 900 NCAA Division I wins in softball history, behind Arizona's Mike Candrea, who did it in 17 seasons. Florida has a lot of good players coming back, one of whom is Hannah Adams Jr., preseason All-SEC player, had a 308 batting average last year, and hit 346 in the postseason. So she's certainly a pressure player, if you will. And then the young lady I mentioned earlier, Kendall Lindemann, who, along with Lauren Hager and Kelly Barnhill, is the only Florida player to have won the NFCA All-American Award. There's your softball capsule, as they say.
Also on Monday's show, and I will make sure I will call him multiple times to remind him, it will be Danny Werfel, former Gator Heisman Trophy winner.
Where's he now?
He lives in Atlanta, running Desire Street Ministry.
He used to do that in New Orleans until Katrina, correct?
Yeah,
Is
well,
that right?
they moved to Atlanta because they kind of expanded not only into the New Orleans area but all around the country, and it was easy for them to get places.
Okay. All right.
But we'll talk about the Werfel Trophy, an award that's named after him that goes to a college athlete each year.
Cool. That's very good. Good stuff. Florida basketball, Mississippi, afternoon game, folks. Afternoon game at Mississippi.
You're like one of the only people that calls them Mississippi.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Who else does?
I said you're like the only person.
The only. I thought I was one of the only. Well, that is the University of Mississippi.
Right, but nobody calls them Mississippi.
I call them Mississippi.
The Mississippi Rebels.
They are the. Well, I don't know what
silly.
they are. Are they the Black Bears? Are they the freaking
Well,
loan sharks? The land shark? What are they? What the hell are they? Do they know what they are? I mean, you don't see the rebel walking up and down the sidelines.
No.
Do you see a bear maybe walking up and down the sideline?
No, I think they got
Do they
rid of that
wheel
guy.
out a bear in a cage, QB?
No.
Your school, this is your parents' school. You should know this stuff.
I do know it, and they
But
need to bring Colonel Reb back.
Well, he's not there. In this world today that we live in, I guess that's just not cool. So certainly Mississippi is a dangerous team, though, having won their last game and looking good at it. And I don't know. I mean, I think this is a game Florida needs to win. I mean,
Well,
you
they
got to
gotta win them all.
Play a 2-7 team in the SEC, and you're going to lose that game. Yeah, you're right. They got to win them all. And we've got Kentucky coming on the schedule. We've got LSU coming up on the schedule again.
I will say this: this is going to.
game, bro.
I've watched Ole Miss play a bunch,
Yeah.
and I've talked many times on this show about some of the teams that we've played the last 3 or 4 games are more athletic than us.
Yeah.
I don't think Ole Miss is more athletic than us. They have a
that's
couple
good.
of good guards. Brian Tyree I think he's the leading scorer in the conference. He's a really good player.
Wow.
But we got to shut him down. Kermit Davis, I think, is a very good coach.
Give me 5 golfers. We have the golf. Oh, it's Friday.
Yeah, it's too late. We missed the AT&T.
Did I win last week also?
We don't even know. We threw our sheets away, so we don't know.
Maybe
We'll just start our golf contest when they come over here to the state of Florida.
Maybe that's a great idea. The first tournament, I guess, is in Fort Lauderdale. That's the Honda, maybe? I don't know. But they play 4 tournaments here in Florida. The TPC, which was being held in May, last year moved to March again.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have it again this March again.
Well,
They
I
used
like
to,
that.
Nah, but see, they used to have issues with the rain and the weather.
Right, but they want
because of
that
how
to be
cold
the
it was.
first non-major leading into
Instead
Augusta.
of playing it after Augusta. I get that. But, boy, May sure was easier because we didn't have the weather issues that we had in March in those years.
It rains in May.
It rained all the time.
It's Florida. It rains all the time.
You know, June and July. But, yeah, I don't know. I think I love it when the golf hits Florida because that does mean we are getting close to the Masters, man. And not just the one in Atlanta, the one in Mississippi, too. Anyway, we got XFL games. The new league
Are you
is
going to
starting.
tune in? I think you are now.
I think
aren't
I
you?
am now because I've got to see our friend Coach Mangus try to get that offense down the field. Now he's just a quarterback coach. He's
I think he calls some plays.
I should have asked him that. But Gilbride is the head coach, and he's an offensive guy. So I'm certainly thinking he's going to take charge of what the plays are. Then, the day before we had Coach Spurrier, Scotty Spurrier, that is the tight ends coach. Interesting. Tight ends coach in Dallas. They play in the old Texas Rangers ballpark that was not demolished when they started building the new one. It's amazing how quickly things go up in Texas.
But
it's unbelievable.
But the Rangers are going to play.
The Rangers are going to play in a new stadium.
This year? I don't think it'll be ready.
Maybe not. But there is a new stadium. It's right next door to Jerry World, and it goes up like this in Texas. Things just happen very quickly. So I think we got a lot to look forward to this weekend. But this is, football's done. Now we got to focus on basketball 100%, certainly. And we'll have a good weekend to talk about on Monday, QB. A lot of things to happen. And maybe we'll try to get Coach Walton next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely get him on. Something obviously came up, and we apologize for that. But
no problem.
He will be back on the show again. If you we got Gator softball, check that out this weekend. As you said, XFL, Gators play tomorrow. So that's going to be a wrap on today's show, brought to you by the Wrap Spot. A vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot will give your business years of brand recognition and increased sales. Call Wrap Spot today. We'll see you on Monday.
Yeah.